Wii Play for the Wii, well, obviously. So this was the second game in the Wii series, which was released after Wii Sports. And all this basically is like a tech demo that teaches you several different ways of how to use a Wii Remote. Now, what's neat about this is this actually came bundled with a Wii Remote inside. So this whole package was $50. And the Wiimotes by themselves sold for, I believe, around $40. So if you think about it, this is basically a $10 game. And yeah, it kind of plays like a $10 game. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just means the games are very short and simple, you know? So here's the back here. Of course, it says, "We play, do you?" Of course I do. We have screenshots of the various games. And yeah, so these boxes are basically the same style as like the GameCube ones, where it's like locked on the bottom here, but it's glued shut, so you can't open it from the bottom. And of course, it's sticker sealed up here on the top. Anyways, let's unbox this, shall we? All right, so there's the insides. We have AA batteries, which have probably been dead for years now. We have let's see. Just your typical warning insert about battery leakage and all that good stuff. And then next we have important safety information about making sure you have the wrist strap on when you use the Wii Remote. Yeah, that was kind of an issue back then. People would play games without the wrist strap on and they would just fling the remote into the TV. It's kind of funny. And then next we have the Wii Remote itself, but I already have one, so I don't really feel the need to open it. It's just a remote wrapped in like some plastic. That's basically it. And then lastly, we have the game itself. So let's unbox this again. All right, here we go. So we have the game itself. Nice, simple white and orange disc. And then we have the inserts. Let's put that off to the side as usual. All right, so first we have your register software pamphlet. And all this basically was is just to register your game online. I believe this was before Club Nintendo, but you could still register it on Nintendo.com to get something. I forget what though. And then we have the manual itself. So here we have your basic warning, service information again. And then we have your controls, holding the Wii Remote, starting the game, of course. So the annoying thing about the Wii is every time you turn it on, you're greeted with this warning on the screen. And you have to bypass it by pressing the A button every single time. Like, I just feel like that was unnecessary, you know? I could see maybe when the system was brand new and you turned it on for the first time, sure, put up a warning on there. But I don't know, I feel like there's no reason to have that warning pop up every time you turn on the system, you know? But hey, I'm sure there's a reason for it. Anyways, so here's how you boot up the channel and you start the game. And then you select the number of players. Choose your Mii. So you can choose your own Miis or you could choose a guest Mii, which is like Nintendo's pre-made up Mii if you want to do that. Or you could also use the Miis that were stored in your Wii Remote, which is a pretty neat feature. So yeah, it goes over that right here, and then select the game to play. So not all the games are unlocked at once, and you have to unlock them in like a clockwise motion, which is kind of odd, but I'm guessing the reason they did that is so that you start off simple with the first game where you just kind of aim the cursor at the screen, and then the next game you kind of move on to something more complicated where you twist the Wii Remote, and then the next game you kind of like pull back on the Wii Remote and push it forward, stuff like that. So here's how you play the game. You can check your records and you can get medals. And what's neat about these is you would send the medals in a message to your Wii message board and say, hey, congratulations, you got a gold medal doing this. So that was pretty neat. And then you pause menu, home menu. And then the first game is Shooting Range. So what's neat about the Shooting Range is it's kind of an homage to like the light gun zapper games on NES. So it starts out with like shooting balloons from Barker Bill's trick shooting, and then you get like these targets, and then you get like the tin cans from Hogan's Alley. And then you get like the clay pigeons from Duck Hunt. And then occasionally you actually get the ducks flying across the screen from Duck Hunt. So it's definitely an homage to those old black box games. And next we have Find Me, which is simple, but it gets tough later on. So you basically have to find like 2 people with the same face. And it starts off pretty simple where you only have like 4 people, and then it goes to like 6 or 8, and then eventually those people will like start moving down the street. And then maybe another game will have like one Mii's are looking in one direction, and you have to find the two that are looking in the other direction, and then another one's like you have Mii's that are like walking across the street, and you have to find like the fastest walking one, and stuff like that. You know, it's an interesting game. I can never get very far in it though. The next game is table tennis, and it's basically ping pong. That's it. And next is Pose Me, which is probably like the easiest game and one of the most simplistic games ever. So what you do is you take your Mii and you kind of like twist it and turn it to match the bubble, and you press the A button to change poses, and then you can match those bubbles, and you have to like pop the bubbles before they fall down to the screen. So that's basically it. It's pretty simple. Next is laser hockey, which is basically like it's like a cool neon style air hockey. It's pretty simple as well. I do think the game would have been funner if it played more like Pong, because the controls are kind of weird in this game. They feel a little off. And next we have billiards, which is just pool, but in a first-person perspective. So this game kind of teaches you how to like move and then kind of push the remote forward and like pull back so you can like hit the ball. So, all right, next is fishing. Fishing is kind of, it's so simple, but it's kind of like relaxing in a way, you know? So that game requires you to just kind of move around, and then you wait for the fish to grab onto the hook, and then you kind of yank it out. It's definitely a turn off your brain type of game, you know? And then next is charge, where you kind of like tilt the remote back and forward and left to right. It's okay. The whole point of the game is just like ride a cow and like knock down scarecrows. A little weird, but yeah. What's neat about it though is the graphics have like a yarn look to it. So in a way, it's kind of like a precursor to like the other yarn games, like Kirby's Epic Yarn and Yoshi's Woolly World. So I think that's kind of neat. And then the last game is Tanks, which is basically like an homage to Combat on the Atari 2600, where you have two tanks facing each other and you can shoot them head on, or you could have the bullets ricochet off the walls and hit theirs, and then levels get more complex later on, where you have like walls in the way and you have to set like bombs and blow them up, and it's pretty fun. It's one of the better games on this game. So and you can also play with an nunchuck if you want. And yeah, other than that, that's about it. The rest of the manual is just your typical, your French and Spanish languages. Anyways, there you have it. We play for the Wii.